rule changes and also some breaking news that just came to my attention this morning.
All right, hold on one second, make sure everyone's on. All right, we got everybody on mute except me and you. So welcome everyone to the second annual Jordan Games podcast. I'm your host, Ron McGann, along with Jordan Games C3 number 2 with Jordan will be announcing the teams, followed by analysis as well as interviews with all the players and some of the previous year's players will be giving their thoughts on the field and who they like and don't like. Steamboat, you're gone. And so with that, we're just going to turn it over to Rick Jordan, who's going to be unveiling the field and starting off with some news and notes about this year's Jordan Games.
All right, well, if any of you recall from my email several months ago, we have about a group of 30 guys that kind of want to be in this every year, and that's awesome. But unfortunately, to make things nice and even, we're going to try to field a 16 this year, see how it goes, and maybe stick with it, maybe not, but we're going to try it this year. And with such a limited field, most people will only be in one of every 2 or one of every 3 Yorton games, unless if you serve as first alternate and you perform your duties to my satisfaction, then you'll earn an automatic spot the following year. If you're an overall winner or you take first place in any of the 4 events, then you've earned a spot for the following year. Other than that, it's going to be you're probably not likely to be in the next year if you were in a previous year. People's eligibility is slightly downgraded by weddings and babies, but that's not a hard and fast rule. There's some leeway there. People who travel from further away get more points for showing up than people that travel from closer. But yada yada. Refer back to the email. This year's field of 16 in alphabetical order. Okay, so don't read anything into the order here. Field of 16. Bova, Nate. Button, Jeff. Campaigning, Sean. Chu. Colvin, Ian. Cream, DC. Galton, Chris, making his first ever Jordan Games appearance. Goodmore, Derek. Jones J. Lar, Big. Merrill, Al. Manuskin, Ron. Sweeten, Nick. Vanderwerken, Chuck. Morton, Dave. Morton, Gary. Serving as first alternate this year will be Corcione, Andy. So that is this year's field of 16. Do you want to talk about that all, Ron, or do you want to go into news and notes?
Yeah, I'll just say that
notable absences, surprise appearances.
This year's field, some of the defending event champions, obviously, Salmer is not going to be able to make it this year. One of the first times he will not be in Jordan Games. A couple of other people from last year, Stag and Geiger, the defending beer can champs, both won't be in it this year. But I think, as you said, the important thing is that everybody except for Cream is going to be sitting out over the next 2 or 3 years, so nobody should feel like this is anything to do with other than the fact that everybody's going to have to take their turns and everyone's life cases causing them to miss 1 year, but they're almost guaranteed that they're part of this. These communications guarantee that they're going to be part of the Jordan Games one way or another, and not being a player shouldn't cause you to not want to be part of the games. So really, as a 2-day festivity starting with Friday with the Hall of Fame dinner all the way through Saturday night. So even if you're not playing, it's always a fun time.
Yeah, and people that come and let me know they're going to be there and are there and they help out and they have a good time, just hang out. Like, at our own personal expense, we're going to still give guys a shirt and they're still welcome to eat and drink and hang out and encourage them. With this field of 16, we should conclude business a little earlier, which will leave time for 4-on-4 volleyball, kind of grudge match bocce, singles, holy board tournaments, stuff like that. So plenty of stuff to do, plenty of stuff to be a part of. Opening ceremonies. Anyone has any ideas, let me know. Like last year, Craig Wagcock was like, hey, how about Pledge Allegiance? How about a tribute to Randy Macho Man Savage? Button chimed in with. So you still make yourself a part of the day, a big part of the day. We're always looking for quality marshals and an alternate and stuff. But then with the news and notes portion, we do have some rule changes for this year to go along with our Field of 16. At one point, Will Chamberlain was so dominant in the paint that they had to widen the lane in the NBA. Similar to that, and kind of Cream's kind of sharpshooting expertise, we've had to make some changes to the three-point rule. Basically, in basketball, games will be played to 7, win by 2, straight to 11 in the winner's bracket, with 2-pointers allowed. In the loser's bracket, however, games will be until 5, win by 2, go as long as it needs to, but there will be no 2-pointers allowed in the loser's bracket this year. Okay, with limited points, we're only playing to 5. You can't, 2 points is a big chunk of that. So that's the kind of new rule. No 2-pointers in losers brackets this year. Another new rule is we're kind of going to get rid of seeds. In the previous year, higher seed gets choice of rings for first throw, gets choice of balls for first throw, gets choice of serve or side, gets choice of who shoots for ball type of thing. So now we're just going to do a best of 1. When you play somebody up on the brackets, best of 1, each person chooses a representative for best of 1 paper, rock, scissors, and the winner of that paper, rock, scissors gets the choice of first throw or rings, first throw or balls, serve or side. Or in case of basketball, if you win the paper, rock, scissors, of the 4 people playing, you get to choose who shoots the ball. But other than that, all the rest of the rules will stay the same. So you want to talk about that a little bit more, Ron, before I have to make another announcement?
Yeah. One thing that's going to be a little bit different along the lines of no seeds is that you're not always going to know what team, what the winner of which game you're going to be playing against. Really, some of the formats for the brackets are going to be a little different. So just you have to tell Rick or me who won a game, and we'll let you know who you're going to be facing next, or the winner of which game you're going to be facing next. In some cases, it may vary depending on some of the outcomes. So it's not going to be necessarily the same going into where you know your exact road. You're going to know your first round opponent, but after that, things are going to be pretty variable.
And I feel like we can train up the marshals. So maybe the marshal at each event can report, to the bracket.
Right.
Okay. Then just the breaking news is last year, after some hard-fought negotiations, I was able to fight to keep the pool on the condition that I install a new liner. After working on the pool kind of on and off throughout this week, it turns out that the pump and filter are both fucking shot. So, unfortunately, the pool will be down, the pool as you know it, will be down for what it is. But I've negotiated, I have a pretty high budget. We're going to get a portable pool, which you can't really swim around in that. But as far as a hot day jumping and cooling off, it's going to work. It's about 10 feet in diameter. It's 3.5 feet deep. It'll serve the purpose of cooling off. Also, in these negotiations, I was able to get a larger shed, which doesn't sound like a win, except that the shed will have a spotlight on top of it, which will illuminate the holy board area, and that will, allow us to holy board well into the night without risk of losing any rings or anything like that. So that's unfortunate. The kind of breaking news as of this morning. Wanted to keep the pool, but because 17 years, and Bugs Down Pool is a fucking lifespan. So, comments, thoughts?
And if there are any other additional capital investment requirements for things like one of the pool, Jones has offered to go deep into his extensive bankroll to help us out in any way. Right, Jones?
His offshore account.
No, baby.
Okay, so just to go back to the field of 16, really there's some top people missing. Notably, Joe Wood is always the top guy. He's going to sit this year out. He's got a kid on the way. I'm going to sit this year out just kind of as a showing of good faith, saying, hey, no one's above sitting out. So I feel like 15 is a nice round number to stop my streak at. And
that's actually one thing I want to add to that, too. Everybody out there, I know everyone has families and kids. Think ahead a little bit. I mean, don't plan your weddings in the summer. Don't plan on having kids in the summer. I mean, you got 4 or 5 other months to do this stuff. Plan ahead.
Right, and there's open debate. The first handful of years, we always did Jordan games the second Saturday in August, just as a way of saying, like, hey, that day you're doing that. You know it a year from now, you know it 3 years from now. But with Dave's kind of schedule kind of being hard to predict, we kind of scrapped the rule. But you can count on it most likely being late July, early to mid-August, kind of thing. As far as
last year was really unfortunate that we were kind of locked into that June time and we had the awful weather. But pretty much it's pretty universal that we've had in that late July to mid-August time frame. We have really had like a full day of rain.
So without further ado, I will announce the teams in random order. Okay? Are you ready for that?
We're ready.
Okay. First up, Jones J. Jones with Camper. Next up, Condor Button with Ale. Next up, Ron McGann, Big Lar. Next up, Gary Norton, Ian Colvin. Next up, Chuck Vanderwerken, Nate Bova. Next up, Cream, Chris Galton. Next up, Steamboat, Goodmore. And last but not least, Dave Chu. Go ahead, Ron, take it from there.
Well, there's some really good teams and clearly some really bad teams. Certainly any team, guys got some talent, but any team with Colvin I don't know like. But yeah, this is a pretty good field. The 16. The thing that, and we'll get into this a lot more, but the thing that really stands out is that the bocce field is incredible. There's so many former bocce champions. There's hardly any bad bocce players. I think almost any of the 8 teams can win bocce.
Well, as we were saying in the practice podcast, every single bocce team has a former bocce champion on it, and 2 teams have 2 former bocce champions on it.
Yeah, precisely. Bocce has never been more competitive. Some of the bad bocce players are actually some of the people who are not playing in the first game. Conversely, though, volleyball and volleyboard, we've lost some of the top tier players in those events. So the field on those are no longer. Volleyball does come across as pretty top heavy, and volleyboard pretty wide open.
I agree completely. I think past years teams that take the second or third in volleyboard will be able to breeze through this volleyboard field. Volleyball, there's some heavyweights. There's some real dead teams, kicker teams, and the bocce field I think is going to be it's going to look like Gettysburg up there. It's going to be a real bloodbath. I think you're going to see a lot of close games, a lot of amazing throws where guys are really flipping it into tight places.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting how some of these teams, the matchups are going to be a big part of it. Is there one team for you that just jumped out on paper?
For boxing or for each event?
Overall. Your first impression on one team, or on any one team, is like, wow, that's a team that is a real threat.
Well, you look at any team with Button, Jones, or Dave on it, and you got to make them a contender. Those are people that have just not raised the cup for the last handful of years, have been right in the running. But Button might have the most skill, but I don't think he has that kind of killer instinct or that edge. You know what I mean? Like there's a saying in business, you stay hungry, you stay fed. And that's why Jones wins. I mean, look at this guy. He hasn't missed a meal ever. You know what I mean? Like, he's always hungry. Button, not very hungry. Easy analogy. Jones has really been the puppet master here, kind of driving the tank, if you will, these past couple of years. This guy met at a new meal when we were in South Carolina. Button, he's not hungry. He doesn't look hungry. Jones is at a lunch. It's an amazing meal. Probably not more sometimes. Basically, it consists of mainly quesadillas, which is, the afternoon omelet. And, look, it's fun. This guy has never sat down at a lunch table in his life. You know what I mean?
I couldn't agree more. That's a good place to start. Let's go to the Jones camper team and get their thoughts. I'm going to unmute them now.
Yeah, that's pretty funny about Duncan. I'm glad you remember that.
Listen, I remember several years ago we were playing golf. Jones and I were teamed up, team high and dry, and killed it.
That's right, baby. Yeah, we're gonna get that beer can, just sweep the whole event, just get every single medal.
Absolutely.
Camper's got us plenty hungry.
We're both. We got one thing going for our team. We're both hungry.
And very, very.
That's going to be my main criticism of this team, though. I've seen Camper in action. I've seen him raise the cup, wear the trophy, wear it across country to Rome and back. And I've also played on a team with Fat Camper. We took that last. So which Camper shows up here, Ron? I mean, is Camper still carrying the baby weight or what? Because his performance is inversely affected by how much he moves the scale, and that's a real issue.
Here's my thinking: is that I think the theme of this year is going to be taking out the Condor. I think everybody is sick of Condor's ranked the cup 3 out of 4 years. He's missed the first or second 5 years in a row, and we have a team of the last 2 champions with Condor, so they know his weaknesses. They know how to limit him, and they know how to beat him. So I think if there's a team trying to just take out the Condor, this team, they know him. Camper's known him the longest, and I think Jones knows him the most intimately. So
what's interesting, you say my weight is a detriment, but I actually think that when facing Button, my weight can be a huge asset. So I actually need to start bulking up, do some weight training, and just push bones around, you know what I mean?
Beef it up, baby.
I don't know. I mean, I've seen some guys with some huge assets, as you say, and they haven't been able to stop Button. I think endurance on a hot day is more important as far as on the basketball court. That's just my thought. I think you guys are a strong volleyball team, though, very strong. I think you can do something in basketball. I really think Jones is a smart player. If Camper can force a double team, Jones can make an open layup. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's all I needed last year was open layup for my partners.
And Boxy, this is a great. Like you're saying how he's a boxer. This is a great Boxy team. This is also a horrible Holy Board team. I don't see anything come out of this team in the Holy Board. That being said, the Holy Board field, like you said, is weak this year and it's wide open. So it's not that you can't do it. I just, not a fair part. That's 3 events I think you could be strong and get points in. And I would maybe place my money on you guys to take volleyball.
Well, I plan on going back to back a little bit, so I'm just glad you're along for the ride there, Camper.
I'm with you. And I think my holy board's underrated. I think if I can lock up those mental mistakes, it's all over.
You know, I hate to say it, but I think we kind of suck in holy boards. We're in trouble there.
You have to remember, Camper, that's late in the day. Jones had quite a few soda pops at that point. So, who knows what his stats would be.
Maybe that's our advantage. We make everybody else drink a lot of beer, and sure, and Camper, you're the sober one. That's the edge right there.
How do you think I forced overtime in holy board 2 years ago?
I'm not so sure Keith is going to be the sober one at the end of the day. I've seen Jones corrupt much, I shouldn't say more innocent, but people have got as innocent as Camper in the past. So it wouldn't surprise me if all of a sudden Camper has a change of heart.
I think the other way. I see Camper trying to be a good teammate, bringing some prescription drugs back from the hospital for Jones, and this fucker might be the end of him. He might be on cloud 9 by mid-afternoon and just kind of fucking checked out.
Right, without even getting your hands on.
If these two do happen to hold up the cup, I do think it does invalidate a lot of what Button did. It may almost retroactively put an asterisk on his last 2 cup championships. And so
one on the asterisk certainly, but definitely takes away from it.
Yeah, it certainly it showed that these two may have carried Button, not the other way around.
Yeah, I agree. I think both these guys are underrated as competitors, and you know, in the case of Jones, at least, I really think he was the kind of puppet master on Button and Dave, quite frankly.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And this is a team I see a lot out of this team. This is a team. If they're not. The name of the game, the way we have the event structure now, is just put yourself in a position to win heading into Holy Board, because every Holy Board now wraps things up. I see this team being in the top 3 and heading into Holy Board.
I agree.
All right, guys. Any parting thoughts from Camper and Jones?
You know, I just got to ask, is Gary in his car doing this? Is he driving?
Let's see. I gotta find out I'm going to unmute the lines and see.
I was in the car, and now I'm in Sam's Club, but I will soon be driving while I'll be on this podcast very shortly. I like that commitment. Is everyone muted right now?
No, I just unmuted people. I'm trying to figure out who's who.
Can you repeat the teams again? I heard most of them, but there's a couple I didn't catch.
All right.
Okay, well, welcome to the show. Let me read through the teams real quick. Jones, Camper, Butt, Al, Big N, Law, Gary, Calvin, Chuck, Bova, Cream, Dalton, Steamboat, Goodmore, Dave, Q. Fuck yeah.
Wow, is everyone on mute?
Who's Button's partner? Al. And Bova's? Stand working. Okay, perfect, thanks. I thought I was pretty chatty with it. What about me? I got him in Scotland. I don't know who Scotland is though. He's a newcomer, first time finder. He was hanging out last year. Okay. And then who's Gary? Calvin. Alright, now I got him all. You talk faster than I can type. Alright, sorry.
Why don't we go to that team? Calvin, you're at a baseball game right now. Your level of commitment is being seriously questioned, but you are on the phone, and you're partnered with a Jordan. What do you think of your teammate?
Listen, I'm so in love with my teammate right now. I'm so happy. And I think that people are going to underestimate us. I tell you, if we can get anything out of Gary at Holy Board, we're going to compete in boxing, we're going to compete in basketball, and we're going to be a dark horse team to be reckoned with. But more than that, the only team I see as a competitor when it comes to the beer can award is the Cream Golden team. I think they're going to be formidable. Other than that, I think if we can, it's going to always be determined on basketball. If we come out hot in basketball, we actually get some decent points in basketball, we're going to be in it for the rest of the day to actually try to win this whole thing. If things don't go well in basketball, we're definitely going to take home the beer can trophy. That's what I feel. I think this team with the new no 2-pointer rule, this is a team that could come through the losers bracket just playing a game totally in between. You got two of the best inside players. Calvin, you got two of the rougher players. These are two legit 5'11" guys. Not quite very tall, but very, not short by any means. Very, very heavy feet necessarily. Like, you can't move them off their spot. I think this is my number one team to win Holy Board. I think Gary's been streaky in years past. I really expect a lot from this year in Holy Board. Bocce, this is a tremendously strong Bocce team. If this team can get some basketball points, then they could easily get points from 3 events. And this team might as well not even show up for volleyball. Gary is high on effort, but Coleman is low on movement. So it's not a good combination in volleyball. Ron, what do you think of this team?
Yeah, I think this is a horrible volleyball team. Like you said, I'd be surprised if they won a game. Basketball, it kind of depends on how the refs call the game, and I know we're called fouls on ourselves, but I mean, Gary is dirty in a clean way, and Colvin is dirty in a bold way. Like, there's almost intent to injure when Colvin plays basketball, and he calls touch fouls the way, as you saw last year, he called some cheap fouls on Jones, on Gary himself. So I worry about what this team can do in the basketball bracket, both in terms of winning, but also in terms of the impact that they're going to have on other teams. Beyond that,
let me just get here with some comments about basketball. Both of these guys have a hard competitive edge, though, that I don't think a lot of teams have. I don't think a lot of people have. These are two guys that lay it all out there, and they play like there's no tomorrow. In Calden's stack, in case Calden that's a distinct possibility. Too many cheeseburgers after the game, who knows what's going to happen. But also, I played Holy Board with Calden last weekend, and that's a guy who really has been resting on his laurels and really needs to fucking practice because he cost a big game, but anyone that watches Game of Thrones knows words are wins, man. And the words coming out of Calvin's mouth right now about Holy Board are worth about as much as the wind coming out of his ass. There's not a lot there. So he can't back it up like he used to. So I'd say Calvin better put the work in on Holy Board because I think he's the one that might let down the team, not Gary. And Gary, he's the oldest of the Jordans, kind of late to the game, but really a good showing. And lately I've been thinking, the Jordans, our dad was like Joe Jackson, but without the music. I think greatness was eaten into Gary at an early age. I think he hates losing, and I think he's gonna provide like the basketball. It's a clean kind of dirty play just because it's aggressive and it's still the effort. But make no mistake, the guy in his head was always going to power forward, so even though he's never ended up being 6'4", he's got all the inside moves to score on anybody. Even some guys that are taller than him.
Yeah, I think for this team, basketball is the key to this team. I don't like him in Bocce as good as Gary is. I played with Colvin a couple of times last summer, and he had trouble just keeping the ball in bounds. He just didn't listen, and even though Gary could coach him along the way and tell him what to do, he just never listened to people. So I'm concerned about the team in Bocce, and I think they need Bocce points to contend.
Interesting. Is Gary available?
Gary, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. What are your thoughts on your teammate? What events do you think you like the chances? What events do you think you're a little worried about?
It's worth adding that when you announced the team, the look of sheer horror that came over Gary's face would have been evident to Stevie Wonder.
Well, I've got this can go several different ways. I think it'll ultimately be a net positive because if we suck it up on the basketball court, suck it in, then I'm looking to get that beer can trophy again, and I think I got a partner to do it with. And who knows, that might lead to, hockey's going to be tough. If we can get at any point at all. I mean, to say say there is a favorite in bocce is pretty tough to do. I mean, we saw it last year with Allen, with the 9 seed winning it all. Volleyball, you're right. We might as well just go and cook some burgers or something because I give it my all there, but it just never works out, and I don't think that's going to go our way. I'm looking real forward to the opportunity of having my first Holy Board trophy.
This guy's got a basketball trophy, he's got a boxing trophy, he's got a beer can. No Holy Board on his mantle yet.
No, I mean, and that's the one that's really, unless I get, with Buckner 2 one year, or even David, I need someone to carry me on that volleyball court. And we'll see how it works out in the Holy Board. We've been talking some rings this year. I feel pretty good. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good team. I think we should definitely be in the running for an automatic bid for next year.
Great.
All right, Rick, I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get some quick takes from other people just on these first, not on their team, on the first couple of teams so far, just real quick hits. So I'll ask you one at a time. Laura, give me your quick thoughts so far. We talked about Gary and Colvin and Jones and Camper.
Yeah, Gary, I'm battling a cold, so if I'm clearing my throat, I'm just going to have to deal with that. Gary and Colvin, I don't know. I don't want to count that out across the board, but I do, so I'm going to say it. And I'll do everything I can to keep Gary from winning a Holy Board trophy, so he can't have that on his mantle alongside the bocce, basketball, volleyball, beer cup. Same goes for Colvin. No hard feelings, but I mean, he had no shot to beer cup against me and McGinn. I mean, we might not even get drunk until the last event, and I think we'll win that. It's just, I think there's no competition there for that. I think I can send my address right now, so you can just send me the cup. But volleyball and basketball, who's the other team? Who's the other team?
Triple J Camper.
Yeah, I think that's a solid team that'll surprise us. I see that team maybe winning basketball. Bocce, and we'll get to it later. I'm pretty sure I know who's going to win Bocce. But, I could see the Jones team doing pretty good in volleyball, fairly well in basketball. I don't know about Holy Board for them. I think they're stronger contenders than Gary and Colvin. Gary and Colvin, they're getting old. They're sort of like the David Shade and Chris Farley team, and I don't know, I just don't see that. Not to say Jones and Camper. I mean, Jones and Camper, you could say are the Blues Brothers team, afterwards the Blues. And it's possible that who knows what he comes high on. So Camper's got his work cut out for him, I think. But Jones and Camper, beer cup, no chance. Yeah, I think that's well played. If that was thought out between Jones with Camper. You eliminated one of the best contenders for the beer cup out of the gate just by putting up with Camper.
All right, good thoughts, Laura. I'm going to jump over to a guy who I never thought would call in and making his podcast debut, Derek Goodmore. What are your thoughts?
What's up? I'm not too worried about either team, honestly. Colvin, Gary, in basketball, I could see him come out of losers bracket. I think weather's going to be a factor with those two boats. If it's a wet day like last year, they could have a breeze. If it's a hot day, I think they're going to gas out early. Push everyone as they're just going to tire themselves out, basically. Camper Jones, I don't know. I just don't think it's a good team. It's not a good match. They just don't worry me in any event, honestly. I think they get in each other's way. I think Jones gets frustrated, starts hitting the bong, starts hitting the sock.
I think Rick, maybe this is a good time to transition to the next team of Goodmore and Steamboat, and I can bring Steamboat on board here.
Can I get a rebuttal on Bar?
Is this Gary?
Yeah. Can I get a little rebuttal on Bar?
Yeah. Go for it.
Yeah. He did a hell of a good job competing from a second York Game Cup title. So I was so thankful for winning
the famous full overtime year.
The famous full overtime year. We should have easily come away with up there. And I believe it was a Holy Board. And we were great. I don't think anything to talk about there.
This is like Shaq and Kobe, former champions, was kind of like gone wrong. But
we'll get to Lars rebuttal a little bit later on when we talk about his team. I'm sure he's taking copious notes, and he'll be ready to come back. But I do want to.
I love his Blues Brothers analogy. I love his
Farley
State. Let's move on to the next set of two teams here. Next up, let's talk about Goodmore, and let's talk about maybe again Lar.
Yes. We'll start with Goodmore. We just heard from you, Steamboat. Are you there? You there?
You there?
We hear you.
Hello. Come on, Steamboat. I'm here.
What are your thoughts? I'll share some words from Dave. When he heard about this team, he said Mr. Fifth Place will turn into Mr. Eighth Place by the end of this year's Jordan games.
Whatever. Fuck that.
Mike, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, perfect. The two teams that you just announced are fucking garbage. Are you kidding me? No, we haven't announced both a team yet. Well, we're not talking about a landfill. Fifth place to eighth place, more like fifth place to first place, assholes.
That's what I'm saying.
This is a very good basketball team.
I think we fucking pick and choose which is how we want to win.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you know what my take is? I think Goodmore can surprise you in any event, but he picks and chooses a little too often whether he wants to put the effort in or not. He's beat Allen Iverson in the Jordan games as far as putting in the work.
This is my Brady Anderson, yeah, I'm telling you.
And as far as shooting goes, this guy, in Texas, like I was saying, it's big hat, no cattle. Okay, we do the individual rankings every year. C3 gets together and we rank singles, we rank guys 1 through 16. We do everything, and we always come across and we pull up the numbers. Shooting is always at the top of the list. We crunch the numbers, we look at it. I guess kind of top, towards the top of basketball, top volleyball player, top hockey player, respectable in volleyball. Good chance for beer can, like Mr. Fifth Place, blah, 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 this guy's just a loser. I don't even think he takes fifth place at all. This guy doesn't reach potential. You rank, like I said, you rank him down through, this guy could be a top 5 basketball player, and he doesn't finish in the top 5. The one year he got trophy to his name, he teamed up with Howard. I don't remember him winning anything else. That's my sense of this team. I think this team is big hat, no cattle, a lot of talent, not a lot of heart, not a lot of results. Go ahead, weigh in on that. Goodmore.
I think you're dead wrong, man. You're dead wrong.
Ron, thoughts?
Hold on one second.
Who's Steamboat?
Steamboat.
I'm with you. I heard Steamboat say that those other two teams are garbage. I think it's almost like they're just looking for one more team, and then they have fifth place locked up. They'll finish ahead of 3 teams, and they're all set for the But I will say this team, they do complement each other well because Goodmore, he likes to stay outside, not get a see him 30, and Steamboat is as 30 as they come. He loves throwing everybody around on the inside. Each of their strengths are the other's weaknesses, so they could do some damage. I just don't think they're really good at any event.
That's a good point. They should be in the hunt for the basketball title, and they do complement each other perfectly in basketball. As far as boxing, Sweden's a top player. Goodmore coming off last year's championship. Like you said, the Hoiberg field is weak. Maybe one strong player and one average player is enough to win this year. I like this team's chances across the board. I think the weakest bet is volleyball.
Yeah, I think they're in a really good shape to finish just out of the points in almost every event.
Yep, I agree. Probably fifth place across the board.
Yeah. Do you guys have any thoughts on some of the other teams we haven't talked about yet?
Who are you scared of basketball?
This is a top basketball
team. Can you hear me? Am I on mute?
I can hear you.
So who's this new guy? Does anybody know him?
Dalton, Chris Dalton. He's a strong, big guy. He's a great athlete, but he's up there in age a little bit. He's a favorite for the beer can. He might be the best volleyball player after Button and Chu. He might be the best basketball player. And yeah,
Didn't Cream. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, he's been itching to get in for a while, and finally decided to give him a chance.
Isn't Cream the oldest contenders?
Oldest combined age? I don't know. I haven't worked that out. I imagine Goodmore and a newborn child might fucking take that cake. Green's gonna hope his plastic hip holds up on the basketball court. Get that ball more than me. Bova looks like he's 21.
Bova got the hair of an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
He's got the hair of a newborn baby.
Man.
So, Sweden,
when did you stop using the Just for Men? Because if you look at the photos from the 2010 Jordan games versus the photos of the 2011 Jordan games, your hair goes from brown to white.
When did I stop?
after you're hit by lightning.
Oh, sometime a year ago.
Let me see who else we got.
Just real quick, this team. Let's move off of this team. We're getting into 50 minutes here. Let's kind of speed things up a little bit. We got Goodmore Steamboat, and all jokes aside, they're a top basketball team. You've heard the other teams. Who do you expect to be playing in the final? Goodmore and Sweden.
In the final?
Okay. Yeah, then you got that basketball. You got that Chuck Bova team. You got Dave Chu. You got Button Hale.
Button and Hale, I keep playing them in the final. Button Hale, for sure. I think Chu hasn't played basketball in like 3 years. He's not into it. He could care less. He just waits for that volleyball to go up in the air, and then he turns it on. Isn't Jeremy Lin injured right now anyway? Good?
Oh, yeah, he's got a knee injury.
Yeah, I think Dave's going to have a hard time dragging Chu around the basketball court. And then, Button Hale will be tough. There's no doubt about it. Any way you slice it, I mean, they're the top team. You know, that's just what it is.
Chuck Bova doesn't scare you all?
In the finals.
I think you guys don't match up with Chuck Bova.
A Chuck Bova team?
Yeah.
Bova. My thoughts on the Chuck Bova team is who's going to handle the ball, who's going to make the plays. You know, I think they both do the same thing, really.
Right, you're right. Bova doesn't play to his height.
I start saying Bova every time I play him.
Yeah, Sweden's more of an inside presence. You're looking right on that. All right, Ron, let's move on to the Next team, Laura and McKen. I think this team's gonna have a rough day, but they might be the number one seed in bocce actually, with McKen probably being the second best guy, and Laura, a former champion, in bocce. I think
it's their eighth grade team.
I think it's what? Eighth place team?
Yeah, I put it right out there right now. I think that's it.
Yeah, I think they're going to be weak in Holy Board. I think
I've had them both on my team. To be a long day team.
I think Laura is like Vince from what's that?
We both had Gilmore on our team too. We know what it's like.
Yeah, I think Gilmore on my team. We won Holy Board and volleyball that year. I think we took second overall. I think Laura has a lot of ability. I don't know if he has that kind of hunger we were talking about earlier to kind of go for the gold necessarily. When I watch him play, I'm reminded of Finch from Wildcats, where they kind of make him play football and like, go right this way, just watch the guy sack the quarterback. I think Brown's going to have to stay on him to kind of keep his attention, his eye on the prize. In my notes here, I put Ron might need to paint his horns silver and put little bells on them to keep Ron's attention. Thoughts on that, Ron?
Yeah, I'm not too worried about that. I've seen an angry Laura. I know how to motivate people. My mistake last year was that I was too worried of Camper's saintlyhood stature that if you do anything to him, you potentially are looking at a lifetime in hell, which I probably am anyways. So, with Laura, I know how to get him in the right frame of mind, and you just you break the Hulk. I mean, you just turn the switch, and the skin turns green. So I think you're going to see a very motivated Laura. You also got a guy who hasn't been in the game for 2 or 3 years now, so he's ready to just wreak havoc on this field. And he's
other than bocce, what is not are you most likely to compete for points?
It's a good question. I would say we're a sleeper in volleyball. You forget how intimidating height is on that field, and I got the tallest guy. I really just got to do what Barry did with Laura a few years ago and just not mess up. And Laura's an intimidating presence on that volleyball court. I don't think we could, we have no chance against Eve and Chu, but after that, it's not a dominant volleyball field. I looked at the history, and Al has actually never got in points in volleyball, so he could maybe start him a little bit. I think with Camper last year, he didn't show me that much in volleyball. He won with Button, but that's with Button. So I think volleyball is pretty wide open after that Chu Dave super team. And then after that,
talking about chance for points.
Basketball is probably not realistic. Basketball, neither of us could score. I think we can play defense on people, but eventually you got to score, and I don't know how we're going to do that. And then if we win bocce, maybe got a point or two in volleyball, just 5 or 6 points into the Holy Board, and you can ride some momentum.
Good point. You got Laura on the line, chime in?
Keep on dreaming.
Yeah, I'm here. I think most of what McKen said, pretty spot on. I think you didn't mention anything about the beer cup, which I just think, talk about something we're going to come in and just crush. We're taking that 100%, and I'll stand behind it.
I agree completely.
I think bocce, I just see us winning that. I think, maybe Gary's team will be in the finals with us, but other than that, maybe everybody has won or everyone's a contender, but that sounds like, something fun to say on a phone call, but realistically, me and again are going to take bocce, probably against Gary's team. Holy Board, I don't know, I think we're pretty much fucked there. I know I'm not the best Holy Board player. I think McKen maybe average, although I think he might own a couple. I'm not clear who owns them, but I think he has a couple, so maybe, if he can carry the team there, then he got a shot. Volleyball,
I do own a couple, and I play with them both at the same time. I throw with both hands.
Yeah, and I haven't played Holy Board since probably the last 20 years, which was a few years ago, so that'll be interesting. Basketball, I don't know. I don't like playing basketball anymore. We're good defenders. It's we maybe have a record for longest games ever. I think we're just, we're not going to score, but we're not going to let anyone else score either. And I just see that going on and on and on. So teams, teams like Jones and Camper, Steamboat, Goodmore, and Queen is all in very cold, and we can just tire them out and then potentially win. So I think if that's our method there, is just tiring the other team out, and we can get some points there, but certainly not our strongest one. And if you recall, when McGinn and I lived together last game of basketball, I think McGinn broke his leg and I went to the bar. So it should be interesting. And then what else have we got? I think that was everything, right? Volleyball. Did I say anything about volleyball? I think we're going to be really good in volleyball if I didn't say anything about volleyball.
I agree. I think volleyball is where we got to look at some points after bocce. Like I said, you just got to, the name of the game now is having a chance to win, heading at the holy board. Once you get the holy board, anything could happen.
Yeah, and as far as Goodmore saying he plays, I don't buy that. I'll be surprised if Goodmore even shows up.
Excellent point. Hey, Ryan, don't forget your weightlifting gloves for volleyball.
They're already packed. I've got a spare set.
All right, let's move on to two more teams, kind of break them down. Let's talk about Crean Gallon, and let's talk about Chuck Bova. Let's start with Crean Gallon. Gallen's a real wild card this year. A lot of people don't know him. A lot of people don't know him and haven't played against him, obviously. But from playing against this guy, he's a formidable force. Like, he's every bit of 6'3". He's physically bigger than Camper. And he's probably the oldest guy in the field this year. But he is a really good athlete. Still plays in a volleyball league every summer. I've played in the championship 2 of the last 3 years in the same volleyball league. And he's a great volleyball player. He's probably going to be the worst volleyball player there, just on inexperience. But like I said, I think he might be one of the better athletes, so he might be able to pick it up fairly quick. I know he's a good horseshoe player, not that that's too similar. And then bocce, I think he's a real wild card. He's a great golfer. Wouldn't be surprised if he could read the land real well and kind of get good roll. And you look at Crean's strength, he could really get an inside-outside thing going in basketball. He dominates the boards, and Crean, like we said, endless shots, And volleyball, I think Crean had a good showing last year, but it might be a bit much from the win. Like I said, a holy board. Crean was great, but Galton might be a little too new. Bocce, though, I really think just the bocce team that's going to be underestimated, and people are going to regret underestimating that. And this is a team. Sorry, we just one last thing. Again, people don't know Galton. This guy drank the water at times faster than anybody, and then fucking drove home no problem. Like, he was fine. He went to a different bar and kept drinking. This team is the heavy favorite for beer camp. Go ahead, Ron.
Yeah, this is a team that I don't really like that much because the thing that Galton's good at, Crean's not, and the thing that Crean is good at, Galton's not. And I just think that's a recipe for not getting points, as Steamboat's found out for the last 7 years. So I just think you need to, you're better off being really, really strong as a team in a few areas and weak in some areas than you are having a balanced team that just keeps on missing points. And I think that's what's going to happen here. I think the events that Crean is good at, Galton's not going to show up, and the events that Galton's good at, Crean's not going to be able to bring enough to get them points. And I think this is a team, I do agree that they are the big beer can team, but I don't know if they are a real threat to win the cup.
This might be the first balanced team you've looked at. Every other team is really strong, some of them really weak than others. This team, like you said, might be wearing 87 jerseys at the end of the day, finishing around 56th place in every event.
Yeah.
All right, either Chuck Or do we have either Cream or Gone on the line, you know?
We do not.
Crazier than most computer at my house.
Frank and Dom are going to be passed out before Holy Word even starts. I'm not worried about that. What's this Dalton guy's personality like?
He's a fellow Raiders fan. He's a funny guy, actually. He's kind of quiet and soft-spoken, but, when he's usually a gem.
I got Dave's analysis of Galton right here.
Great, love to hear.
He's stowed in ability, well-spoken, quick-wit, nice guy, good attitude. Anyone would be lucky to partner with him and consider winning is the best chemistry. He's like a more athletic version of Al. I think you'll all be impressed.
Yeah, I think so too.
Sounds like he's going to be really upset with his partner.
I don't think so, man. Like I said, this guy's at the bar quite a bit. Him and Cream probably spend more time together than any other two teammates with the exception of Ron and Laura.
I think this team is tapping out and going for the beer cup. Just passing out. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you one thing. They might go for the beer can, but Sullivan doesn't pass out. He might black out, but he ain't gonna pass out. This guy's too big. He drinks too much. So, hey, you want to go on to Chuck Bova, or what do you want to do?
Hold on, Bova disappears.
That's not a big loss.
Unbelievable.
Permanently?
Yeah, Andy may have just gotten into the Oregon game.
What happened to Andy this year? I forgot about that guy. I liked him.
Yeah, he's taking his turn sitting out, hoping to get in next year. He's kind of filling your shoes. He's going to be first alternate this year. He's going to get an all-day next year.
Nice. So he's going to be partnered with Steamboat?
What's that? No, he's not going to be part of the team, you know?
No, he's joking. He's not going to show up.
Oh, right. Sorry, I missed that. Yeah, it's very easily be partners with Steamboat.
And who's Xander working? I forget. Is that the guy that gave you a ride home one year, or is that the
No, that was Porcello.
guy?
Porcello gave you a ride to Albany train station. Vanderwerfen played with me last year. He played with Goodmore the year before that.
I think Large got disconnected. So we could go to
Is Button on the line? I mean, is Button or Al on yet? Are those two guys that are expected to be here? Are those two guys that just call?
I think you're disconnected. I'm still here.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Someone got disconnected. Let me give them a call. Just try to bring them in.
In the meantime, if you want to talk about Dave and Chu, feel some dead air, I can talk about them.
Yeah, start talking.
That's a powerhouse team right there.
Yeah, Dave and Chu is a real powerhouse team. These guys, though, they're probably the two shortest guys in the field after Cream. And, can two midgets really compete in basketball? They might have a better chance to team up with Hillbilly Jim to fight Andre the Giant. Gary might get that reference. I don't know how many other people will.
I got Dave on. Dave's on the line.
Dave Jordan.
Dave Jordan.
All right. See what he has to say.
Dave, you in?
I'm in, and I just caught wind here out in the Asian wind. They call it the Days of 100 wind out here in Asia. And I just caught wind of who my partner is. One Eric Chu. Let me just throw out there to the field. I'm generally a firm believer. If you're going to be a bear, be a grizzly. But this, my friends, is a Kodiak. We are going to light up the field. Like, the whole Button Al thing, yeah, they're sexy, but with the XL thing, circle gets the square, because we are going to Jim J. Bullock Al's sexy ass all over the court. The 4-0 there, sweet. Start engraving, and tell number one, actually, to start engraving our trophy now, because we're going to walk to a title. This is going to be it. This is going to be a cakewalk. A rice walk, or whatever you want to call it. But I mean, and I'll also just real quick, also thank the C3 for enabling when I'm out here in the Southwest Asia and the idea of the training and everything that comes on is I get to with Chu with his frequent business trips out to the Opian Triangle. He will certainly stop by and we'll be able to work on our team chemistry, bocce, holy board, and our skills and the like. But yeah, this is I'm extremely in a lifetime of confidence. I'm extremely confident right now.
No height concerns in basketball. I mean, I think this is a strong bocce team with one of two teams with two former bocce champions on the same team, but both of them may be secondary players the year they won. What do you think about your chances in bocce? It's one of the best bocce fields we've seen in years.
Bocce, anybody can win 1-8. This bocce field is stacked. And really, I think maybe that's where our Asian slanty eyes might hurt us on the bocce field, getting good reads. And we probably will be probably about it. We were both obviously the Pippin on our Pippin out of the Jordan on our two bocce runs. But as far as height in basketball, Chu is borderline X-tall. He basically just shortens himself down an inch so he doesn't have to be associated with X-tall. He's a full 5'11". And there's no two players probably in the field more that play above the rim than me and Chu. So height won't be a concern. I mean, there's, maybe some fat guys like, Camper, Bova, Colvin, the like, they're going to try to show their weight around. But I'm no problem getting underneath them. And as far as lankiness, Condor or whoever wants to flap his wings, Chu will give him the bird flu. He's got no chance.
My thoughts on this team is that the greatest threat to this team is Chu's sobriety. I mean, the only Chu I don't fear is a sober Chu. So
my thought is the greatest threat is if Chu is the one driving down to the Little League field.
The only job Dave really has throughout the course of the day is to make sure that Chu never has a cup that's more than half empty.
I agree. I mean, I would say this is the most excited I've been going into a York game since I got teamed with one BC Cream. But alcohol once again did us in, but not the teammate. I tried to go beer for beer with Cream after we locked up the basketball title, and I was on my back the rest of the day and shackled Cream the rest of the day. But with the whole XO, we'll be going back and forth with Team Sexy, and I don't see Chu after basketball. I don't know that Chu. I mean, we'll be doing sake shots, you name it, the whole rest of the day. We're going to be loaded up and just high on victory because we'll be Jones might be high on other things. We'll be high on victory because we'll be shutting down the field. And Chu's glass, mark my words, will never be empty. They'll be full with success and glory.
There's one thing that you guys aren't going to win in this Jordan game. It's going to be fucking a run in your mouth contest. This is just an all paper team. One Vietnam War flashback from Dave. This team is done. That's right.
We walk around with Chu. It's going to be walking a Vietnam War flashback.
Good point from Jones. I know Dave and Brodin have historically been rivals, but I feel like over the last 2 or 3 years, the biggest rivalry of the Jordan games has been Dave and Jones, that 09 title. Who really was the key to that title? This year may determine that. I mean, you both kind of have equal partners, and Jones, arguably, over the last 3 years, we saw the David Jones promo. He has made a statement that it's his. He's really the alpha dog of the Jordan game. I mean, there's 3 Jordans, but there's also 3 Joneses. So I'm interested in how these two people match up.
I'm interested in what sort of service Dave Jordan has. Does anyone else think he sounds as crystal clear on the phone right now? He's in a different country, and I mean, it's not going to be.
Well, all the technology originated from the aircraft that we use today, so he's probably on the next prototype already.
Let's shoot contacts in China and Japan.
Dave has his
satellite overhead.
if Dave has the teams in front of him, if you need to hear him again, that's fine. But I'd like to hear his taking himself and Chew out of the field who he thinks the top 1 or 2 teams are in each event and the beer can. Taking yourself out of it, of course.
Of course.
Who do you think play the finals of basketball?
Basketball, you know, it's hard to pick against the Condor in basketball. I think the Chuck Bova team, I would say, is the chief competition. Because I just, like, as much as I think Galton is, like, will be the team Olajuwon of the York Games of basketball court, I just don't know that he's going to assert himself. Goodmore and Steamboat, I think that team, you know, Steamboat will be chasing around bricks all day, you know, until he gets too tired, which is about 3 minutes into the first game, and they'll be done. Paul and Gary, no threat. Ron Lahr, no threat. Jones, I think, is underrated basketball defensively, and Camper's obviously, that's like 2 big bodies, close to twin towers, but I don't know how they're going to score. So really, I think it's the top 2 teams are Button and Al, and then Chuck and Bova. And just as Bova decides to, like, you know, accept his identity, clean up some trash, but Chuck gets some shots, and that team, that's going to come down to matchups as far as what one of those 2 teams peaks through in basketball, in my opinion.
What about the other sports? Just
volleyball, you know. Once again, it's hard to pick against in volleyball, but I think that Jones has proven his track record that he's always going to be there. So I really think you got to go with that Jones team on top of that in volleyball. And then in
hockey goes pretty fast, and like you said, it's anybody's game. But this is one of the weaker Holyborg fields we've ever seen, with me, Angelo, Wood, and O'Mara sitting out. Who do you like in Holyborg? Do you see a favorite?
Man, it's almost, Holyborg's almost as closed as Vachi is open. I think probably I'd have to take Fat Greg and Fat Ian and Holyborg. Gary's got Norton blood, and Calvin is, yeah, he's 3 years removed from being in his prime at Holyborg, but in that field they have 2 solid guys plus a guy with a high ceiling. And let's face it, they're going to be pretty really well rested with nothing else to play for the rest of the day. So I got to say, the Fat Brothers there are probably the best chance in Holyborg. Like, and I'll add this on top of it. Like, who else is going to have time to just sit and play Holyborg all day while everybody else is competing at the other events? Fat Ian and Fat Greg. Who else is going to be over at the grill stuffing their face near the Holyborg course? Everybody else is competing. Fat Ian and Fat Greg. Like, it just lines up for them to kind of make a run.
That's good.
I don't know. I think I'll be over there stuffing my face too.
Yeah, with the filter fish and whatever else Ron's gonna have on the grill.
We'll be making some mock-up.
Who do you like in the beer can?
Man, I like the Loire Ron enthusiasm. That's hard to beat in a team that wants to have a good time. I'm in the camp of not who consumes the most, but who brings the most good times to the table. And I think, I mean, Cream and Galton are going to consume the most. That's not even a question. But as far as who's going to invoke the most good times through that, I would also say a dark horse. Everybody's thinking of with Camper being, sober and not contributing at all. I think Jones has proven that he's a one-man force in that area. And Camper is also, it's not like he's afraid to touch the stuff. I mean, he'll put it down stuff. They'll call him down Jones all day, and he'll be an enabler. Camper really doesn't get the credit he deserves as being an enabler. And I think that Jones will give Ron and Lair every bit of what they want in the run. And of course, the fat team. They're going to do something fat and stupid. Come on, nigga.
What's up?
Well,
I just got a text.
We have been taking on Dave and Chulo several times in the Jordan games. We have Al and Condor both on the line.
What's up, Al?
Hey, let's do this shit.
Yeah, I just got a text from you, man.
I know. I'm down.
Better sign on for this. So, I think this year Button goes down, he goes down hard. You might have my opening comments about how Jones was a real puppet master last year, but this is a guy who grew up with the nickname Suck, and just kind of somehow... That's Mr. Suck! Mr. Suck, my apologies, but this guy's way too arrogant lately, walking around like he's 5'8" in the military, so fucking cocky. When this son just walks through the room, Dick's already been there for 10 minutes telling everyone how great he is. I think this is the year everyone's fucking gunning for him. Everyone's fucking on their A game to take him down. And Hale's a real good partner. Maybe the best partner Fun's had in years, but it won't matter. It won't matter. I think dead man walking. Ron, what are your thoughts on this team of bullseye?
I actually I disagree. I think Al is the field's worst nightmare for a Condor car. And I've been teammates with Al, and I've been teammates with Goodmore, and it's like night and day. I mean, Al's inspiring, whereas Goodmore is deflating. You want to win for Al, and Condor has been talking for about 3 years now. He really hasn't even cared about the last 2 championships. All he's been talking about is I want to win a championship with Al. So it's pretty nervous, and I do think they're the sexiest team in the field, and that's a factor. I mean, certain people in this field will be impacted by having to look at those across the field at those guys. So I think the field is in a lot of trouble. I think this was the one person that you did not want Condor to get. And maybe a happy Condor is a little bit easier on the rest of the field, but this could be trouble for a lot of teams.
I'm calling quintuple crown right now.
No, there's no way. No. Yeah, there's no chance the beer can. Actually, you have a chance the beer can. I think Hibachi, you guys are just not even in the conversation. You might as well.
I've been playing on the side, man. There's a Hibachi club right up the road from me, man. We're in.
I like
literally
like
5 minutes away.
You could probably throw the Hibachi ball from your house, huh?
I could. It's close.
If I was good at a lot of things, that doesn't mean I go there.
Yeah, and everybody like there's also a sailor bar right at the house, right at the block from Calvin's house. He hasn't fucking ever been there. I don't care what the geography of Hibachi Court is. I think you were fluked to get past Vanderwerfen last year as I anchored him down. With your sexy charm, I'll give you that. But I don't know. There's nothing coming from you, Hibachi. So what does it look like our biggest competition now?
I don't know. It's always who's playing with Jones, but I think we're pretty good. I mean,
I haven't been listening. What other teams are announced?
All the teams. Stanford Jones.
It's Stanford Jones, Button Hale, Ron, Lar, Gary Colvin, Chuck Bova, Cream Bolton, Steamboat Goodmore, Dave Chu. Man, Dave Chu, that is interesting. It's interesting that, you give Chu to Dave and Al to me. Clearly the two, most wisdom guys everyone looks up to, cares about their opinion. It's kind of like, Yoda and Obi-Wan. I guess, Dave would be Luke Skywalker and I'd be Anakin. Should be some good battles.
I like them for evil. That's good.
I figured.
That's a bold comparison, Button.
Thanks. Well, I'm back to being evil. Take a note from Ron McGann. In case anyone didn't watch 80s cartoons growing up, the villain always loses. So I don't know. I mean, Skeletor even teamed up with Dave Prince Adam in year 4, and it had nothing to do. I think if you guys take the evil route, speaking purely as a heel, I think it doesn't work for you. I think if Bud tries to play evil like Hollywood Hulk Hogan, I think this is messing up his mojo, and that's going to hurt him even more.
What about if I turn at the last moment, just like Vader, you know, and then technically I think the case can be made that, you know, at the end of the trilogy, you know, you've got both Obi-Wan and Vader up in the sky, you know, and Chewie up there looking down, but, you know, that could actually be an enlightened state. So, I just
or you can kill the kids until after we're done winning. Either way.
There's no doubt you guys are the heavy favorites, but we have the new brand cream rule where there's no two-pointers to the losers bracket. I don't know if you've seen the list. You didn't hear the new rule changes.
I did not hear
Winners
that.
bracket is to 7, win by 2, straight to 11. Losers bracket is to 5, no two-pointers, win by 2 as long as it needs to go. So, if you guys get that first loss, that takes a big weapon away from you, bud.
Yeah.
I think just want to make an unbuttoned comparison because I think they were off. I think I see Q and Dave more as a Kirk and Spock.
Who does that make up?
I think you're right, man. That does fit them way better.
I mean, if those guys show up with those Star Trek shirts, light blue and the throw up yellow, I think it's perfect. That sounds like a challenge. You guys should try and find those. So, are we like Picard, number 1? I think Al Button's more of like a Robert Redford and Al Newman.
That's a good call.
That is a very sexy team that you just
Hey, if we still got Royal on the line, I'd love to hear his boxing breakdown. Dave's saying the boxing field's wide open. I like more Royal things with it.
what do you have to say?
Yeah. Hey guys. I think that boxing field is wide open. There's no clear favorites at all. I think that's going to be whoever can win boxing, I think can roll in the holy board and, might be able to take this whole thing. So that's what I'm looking at.
That's just some deep thought.
Yeah, that doesn't sound very convincing at all. That's going to be wide open.
Got it.
Texas team won last year. My one chance at winning a boxing title. But Dana working, no one can deny it. He's the single best boxing player. And he's teaming with Bova, who, I don't know, strong as fuck. That's the one thing we haven't talked about. I really expect them to do a lot of basketball. But I think Dinworking's underrated and the Holy Board and Bova's overrated. Volleyball, they could do okay, but really Bova just sucks. But boxing and basketball, that's a good point.
I played basketball with Bova recently. His garbage play is not there anymore. You know, where he normally gets like rebounds. It's just making him.
Ron, are you still in college?
He still does those bullshit scoops from his waist, though. We can block those all day.
Yeah, I headbutted one back at him.
Ron, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I was trying to get over to chime in. He's just looking at himself the whole time. I don't know what he's doing.
Well, you kind of got to see your shit through a little bit, I think.
Yeah, but Bova, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Well, what are your thoughts? You just Chuck Vanderwerf, the greatest boxing player in the history of the Yorkie games. What do you think about your team?
Well, I think we got Bocce locked up. As wide open as you say it is, I think we got it locked up. Locked up. Unless Lar gets angry, then things could change pretty quickly. Basketball, I'm gonna say we're, as long as I'm not chucking from half court, I think we're in the conversation. I don't like many of these basketball teams other than, obviously Button and Al, I don't think Gabe's ever underrated, but Chu is an excellent complementary teammate. So they're gonna be a force despite their height. I don't care I don't care if Chu hasn't played in 10 years. They're gonna bring it. But Chuck and I, Holy Board, we got plenty of time to practice. I think we'll be okay there.
All right, Bobby, that was really inspiring. Dave, what do you think about this team?
Think of the Bova Chuck team?
I just heard a lot of dead air from Bova. He's just blabbing and blabbing, but I didn't hear anything that made me think that this team's really ready to go take it to the next level.
I'd like to hear some more comments from Bova. What?
I'd like to hear more from Bova about Gary Colvin, Kareem Dalton. You seem to just go for the obvious talking points, but what about the other keys?
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second, but first I want to get Dave's thoughts on the team.
Yeah, no, to touch on both of those, I think, like Lar's saying, you hit on all the obvious stuff. It's like one of those black garbage bags. Not as clear as what you can kind of see through, what he's going to do. It looks full, and you open it up, and it's just that garbage smell that's in there. There's nothing else in there. And that's kind of what his comments were. And what I think and really him personally is he's trash. He's just an empty bag of shit-smelling air. And I think that I think chemistry's going to hurt them in basketball. I think skill is going to hurt them in Holy Board and volleyball. And I think, I don't know, we'll see what kind of shape Chuck shows up and how much garbage he's ready to haul.
He's off the wagon.
Luckily for him, Eileen puts her garbage right on the corner by the bocce court, so hopefully that inspires a little bit. But I think that's about the only shot.
Yeah, what's the word on Chuck's physical condition this year?
He's alright. The guy doesn't fucking drive. He smokes cigarettes and he's off the wagon, so he's drinking again.
Did he have 2008 gut though?
You know what? He's never going to be in horrible shape. The guy. Well, actually, that's not true. He does a physical labor for his job. He climbs cell phone towers and stuff like that, makes repairs. He's not sitting in a cube all day, kind of thing.
Yeah.
They're the worst.
They are.
But yeah, give us some thoughts on it. We have to mute you because you really haven't been adding much to the program here. But what are your thoughts on these other teams?
Let's see. Gary Colvin. Other than Holy Board, what are they going to do? I can't see them doing anything. They're going to trip over each other in basketball. They're not going to know which side of the net to be on in volleyball.
Yeah, watch out for them in boxing though. Gary is without a doubt the third, maybe even the second best boxing player.
No, I know Gary's a good boxing player. Yeah. Colvin's an anchor though. So we'll see. Kareem Dalton, from personal experience, I've seen Galton crush beers we're on beer 4 and getting tipsy, and he's on beer 24, and he's writing essays. So I think he and he's big, so he's gonna be formidable in basketball, I'm sure, if he has any game at all.
You think that's going to hurt them for the beer can? The fact that it's going to take Dalton, the whole day to get drunk?
I don't know. Yeah, if we went by pure volume, he'd win. But yeah, I see what you're saying. What else we got here?
Let's actually,
Yeah, just move on.
Gary, there's been some talk from some of the other people. You are the man when it comes to determining who won the beer can, and
he's one third of the judge. He might, wear the captaincy, but the committee for the beer can trophy is Gary Vanderwerk and Garza.
Right.
So yeah, Gary does kind of have the feel on it.
Right. At the very least, Gary's the spokesperson for the beer can committee.
Right.
And so I wanted to get Gary's thoughts on the criteria. It's your prerogative to change the criteria year in, year out, but do you have something in mind for what you're going to use this year with some really strong beer can teams to determine this year's winner?
Well, I think there's going to be a constant discussion throughout the day, but I have thought about some parameters, or almost not necessarily bylaws, but just some things like, there's been some problems with the interpretation of which is all mine. So, I've tried to put something down, and hopefully I'm going to send it out to the C3 for review, see what they think about it, so that there can be a little more structure, so it's not like I'm the Russian judge who didn't like I think there's a lot of strong competitors, but really you don't know how it's going to go until you've got about halfway through the day, and the teams that are truly competing hard and are winning events, makes it tough for them to really to embody everything that is the beer can. Consumption is just one of the factors that goes into the beer can, but hardly the only thing.
All right. Rick, do you want to break down have everyone try to get a top three, not including themselves, for overall, or want to go through events? Any preference?
I'd like to hear events breakdown. For favorites, or top three favorites for each event. All right, I'll start. Then I'll do I'll do maybe 5 events. Count the beer can, real quick on overall, and I'll try to be quick, and everyone else can do the same, I guess. I think for basketball, you got some teams with talent like Chuck and Bova and Goodmore and Sweden. Just don't know if they have the chemistry to win. I think Button are the overwhelming favorites in basketball, but I wouldn't be surprised to see them playing Goodmore and Steamboat in the finals, who match up pretty well with them. And also wouldn't be surprised if Button now lost to like a Chuck Bova early on and had to fight back. Dave and Chu will be tough. I played basketball with Chu. I thought he was great. I think those are really the 4 teams that we're talking about with the points. And in volleyball, Dave and Chu are probably more of a favorite than Button and Al are in basketball. Dave and Chu cover most ground. They're the best placement. Their lack of height with the net doesn't hurt them so much because they're not going to leave anything close to the net. They're two the best at that. But also, Button's the best big hitter. And so he's also in the conversation for volleyball. And Jones and Camper, I think they're a good team. I don't think they're gonna make a lot of bad hits. A lot of times that's what it takes, not having the bad hits. And I think they'll just hit it back to you and force you to make the mistakes. And I think they have a chance for points. And then the other team I think is in contention for volleyball points is Cream and Galton. People really don't know Galton. He's a terror around the net. Like he'll dink and dump you all day, hit it where you ain't type of thing. And Cream played well last year. Remember, Bova is a horrible volleyball player, and Cream and him, I think, finished 4th maybe last year in volleyball, at least won some games. Holyborg's got a weak field here. I think it's Gary and Collins to lose for a lot of different reasons. Button might be the second best Holyborg player, so he's in it for volleyball too, but I think Dave and Chu could win. I think Steamboat might be a weak enough field where Steamboat can carry good more points than Holyboard. YP6, I carry them to the title. Bocce, this is, the real bloodbath. I think McKenna and Law are just kind of knowing each other, the strong team, and then kind of an underdog that I like. I like Jones and Camp and Bocce too. I think they're two good Bocce players. I think it just fits their Hobbit lifestyle. And Gary and Calden, I like in Bocce also. I think that's it. And I think Boba really shits the bed and costs Vanderwerfen from getting into the top four. Overall, it's fun and nails to lose, but make no mistake. Me and Ron are going to bracket against Button as best we can. So hey, roads are going to be tough, but you got the best team that you've had in years, so deal with it. And like I said, be cheering against them all day. And I think Chuck and Boza have the skill to win it. I just don't think they have the drive. And Dave and Chu have the drive, but I don't think they have the height. And as far as beer can, if you go by consumption, no one touches Screaming Galton. If you go by fun added to the day, I think Goodmore could surprise you. I think that Goodmore Steamboat team might be a really fun, really fucking drunk team that could walk through with a beer can, depending on what Gary Vanderwerfen and guys have decided the criteria, what they want to make it for this year. So I feel like I have Ron and Ron. Ron wants to go ahead and take it to somebody else.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll go towards the end, but that was an incredibly bold beer can prediction. I like the thought that's like picking a 7 seed to make it to the Final Four.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Jones. Jones, take yourself out of your predictions. Just talk about the top 2 or 3 teams in each event that you think have a chance to win, not counting yourself.
In basketball, you always got, that's pretty much the one event that holds the form most times, it seems like. So, the button-out team, but they won it enough. They didn't, they lose one game getting that losers bracket. It was a big weapon with that 2-pointer. So, and game to 5, anybody can win that. So I think that's the key for them, getting them that quick loss right off the bat. But, yeah, I don't know. Sweet and Goodmore, that's just like the Joey Lawrence team. They're just ultimate underachievers. Just all foul, no help there at all. They should go for the beer can. That's going to be their best chance. Colvin Gary, the only way they're winning something this Jordan game is if you make a cheeseburger medal. But
just give us your top 2 or 3 at each event. Don't rank every team at each event. So you like Button and basketball. Who do you like taking yourself out of? Who do you like to play in the finals in each event, taking yourself out of it? Go to each event.
Let's see. Volleyball, it's kind of tough to go against the Chu Dave team. And not even so much for Dave, I think for Chu. He's just kind of, you talk about not making mistakes. Chu doesn't make mistakes. So, I don't know. I think they're probably the top team over there. Bocce, that's wide open. Just like everybody's been saying, I think that's an event Cleveland Galton are going to really kind of sneak up on. And, they're going to be right there, too. And, Holyboard, if Colvin and Gary can, stay sober enough to be upright by that point in the evening, that could be a team to reckon with. But, I don't know if I trust that team's sustained consciousness long enough to get there.
All right. Let's jump over to Gary Goodmore.
You had reception here?
It's fine when you talk.
Let me see if I can fix it. Hold on.
No, you just talk.
How's that?
Good.
So where are we at?
Take yourself.
That's summing it up right there.
Yeah. Take yourself out of the field and pick your top 2 for each event.
Aside from myself, of course. You got basketball. You gotta go with the Condor and Al. I'm gonna go Dark Horse, Galton Cream. Those 2. I think they could do damage. I played with Dalton a long time ago, but if he's any good, if he's as good as he was, he's still pretty damn good, and he's fucking big. So, and I would say same thing for volleyball. I think Dalton Cream could place in volleyball, at least be in the finals. The Cream is not bad. He can place it, and Dalton can do all the network. And Bocce, I can't, it's tough. I mean, it's wide open, but I've seen what Al can do. He's got a grid in his head. He lays it all out. He knows where to put it. So I could see Bud and Al placing in Bocce. Maybe Gary's good. Maybe Gary Colvin. I mean, that would be no surprise to anyone. I don't know Colvin's Bocce game too well, but I know Gary's damn good. And then Holy Board. That's tough too. I would say again, Colvin, Gary. No brainer. They're going to be there. Man, I wouldn't be surprised. Well, Dave Chu maybe. I could see them making a run.
You played with Chuck a couple of years ago, and you see Rover around the Lansdowne once in a while. What do you think of that team? I haven't heard you mention them at all in any event.
Well, I mean, I think they're both good at basketball, as long as Bo doesn't get crazy. But I just think that they both tend to do the same thing. They both want to get those little jumpers in. They both want to get to the rim. I just don't see them. I just kind of see them getting each other's way, kind of. Unless Chuck just has Bo set picks the whole time. These little jumpers, and I mean, I could see that going a long way if they get that down pat. Maybe a pick and roll or something, but I don't know. It's tough. And Bo was terrible at Bocce, so Chuck's got to drag his ass that whole day on the Bocce court.
I mean, I think this is our first upset of the entire day, and some great analysis from Derek Goodmark. So that's
I turned a new leaf.
I mean, I would have to reevaluate everything. It sounds like this guy did homework. He's been looking at tape. He's been studying all the footage from the last couple of years. He's trying to be
pretty great, man. Wow.
Yeah, it sounds like a comeback here for Goodmore.
Goodmore, here's a big question that's on everyone's mind. Are you going to be sticking around the whole day into the night?
It depends when I come.
So if you come out Friday night, then probably not.
Yeah, if I come Friday night, I'll probably leave Saturday. If I come Saturday morning, I'll leave Saturday night. I don't know yet.
And I'd rather have this Friday night than Saturday night, but whatever you want.
Yeah, I like Friday night more than I do like Saturday night. I mean, Saturday night's fun, but, Friday night is an event in itself. Everyone's got the excitement, anticipation, you got the feast, you got the ceremonies. I mean, I don't want to miss that. So, I don't know. I'm leaning towards coming Friday.
I almost feel like part of the beer cup sort of process that, and I know Gary said he's working on some rules for it or something like that, should include, somebody who redefines what Saturday night means. The last few years, well, I guess I've only been there a couple of times over the last 5 years, really, but all the years I've been, I always felt like Saturday night should always be a lot better than it was. There was one good year that, I think it was the year Goodmore won. I don't know if he won it all, but he won a couple of things, and I remember some comments being made at the bar day, and it really defined that Saturday night as being fun. And I think part of the Beer Cup should be somebody who redefines what Saturday night means for the Yorton games, because it just needs to be so much better.
Well, I hope Gary was listening to that.
Ron, let's get back to who's next on the event.
The next is Gary.
Yeah. I think the basketball is a Chew and Dave and Condor Al team is going to be that sounds like it's a finals there. Volleyball can very well be the same final. Bocce, Al with his throwing style, he kind of brought a new element to the bocce, but I'm going to say that I think, as much as I'd like to go with Chuck, he's got a pretty big anchor, and I don't know what you're going to get out of Boba with that. I'm inclined to do it to say a Steamboat team on the bocce as a kind of an upset prediction, somewhat. And I kind of like the Jones team to kind of be an upset performer at the bocce court. I know that, and my bold prediction is that Ron and Big Lair finish on the bottom of the bocce tournament. That's a bold prediction. Holy Board, I guess the team that I would be afraid of is probably Cream. Cream and Galton. When you're first to the board, he could get something done. And I Dave and shoot for that as well. Here's King Cup. I like the Cream Galton. I think they're the front runners. But hey, there's a lot of factors and a lot to be taken into that. I know that, so I would take Cream and Galton at this point.
Any thoughts on Big Lars' announcement of what he'd like to see for Beer Can Saturday? You don't have to make anything final, but have you any thoughts about what he just said?
I think it all has merit. I think absolutely. It definitely has merit, and will be taken into consideration.
All right. Are you on the line?
Yeah.
Not over. Oh.
Not. I don't refer to you by your name.
Whoa.
My bad. Hey, number 3. I'm going to ask number 3 if you keep unofficial tally of these predictions here, so at the end we can kind of say, like, okay, hey, the field thinks this guy's a favorite in this team's a favorite in that at the end.
That sounds like some homework for him after we hang up.
I can go back and listen to the tape afterwards. I got a pretty good idea of what everybody said so far.
Okay. Unofficial is what I'm looking for. At the end.
Yeah. When your mind works like mine, Dave, you don't need pen and paper.
Right on.
All right. Steamboat, what are your thoughts?
Basketball, I'm going to Alan Camper team. And
Alan Camper, not a team.
Alan Condor. And two and Peter right there with him.
Okay.
Still there? Volleyball. I like Truth Skills, but I think Dean's overrated in volleyball. I think that, he's quick to get to the ball, but I think that he makes a lot of mistakes. There's a lot of Easted when him and
That's your first mistake, Steamboat.
He's way overrated in volleyball. Volleyball, believe it or not, I'm thinking Galton and Cream. Cream impressed me last year during volleyball, and Galton plays every week. So I'm saying Cream and Galton in volleyball. And Holy Board, I'll say Ian and Gary. And Bocce, go with who knows? say,
Who knows?
I'll just give Ron a bone because I don't hear anybody talking about that team. So just to do him a favor, I'll say, yeah, he wins bocce. Because there's no talk about that team.
No, that team has not been mentioned very much in the prediction so far. Let's go over to Sandra. What do you think?
I wanted to get actually Laura's opinion on if he thinks that you and him can get any points in any of the events, or if it's just beer can, or if that's even a stretch.
He already addressed this, just to fill you in quickly, to a quick version. He thinks they can win the beer can usually. He thinks they can win bocce, and he thinks they're going to get points in volleyball. He doesn't care about basketball. He says it's a gay sport for fucking chicks.
Oh, people?
All people. There you go.
All right, that's a good summary. Thanks. I think the consensus around volleyball is Q and Dave. Dave, you're in for a treat playing with Q. When I played him, his placement for the sets was unbelievable. It was just fun time. That being said, we're still going to beat you, but obviously I can't include that in my assessment. So I'll go with you guys for volleyball. Basketball, I actually like Chuck and Bova as an upset team. I think it'll start at the day. They might be able to put together. Still probably clash by the end, but getting that out of the way, who knows? Maybe they'll give them enough to run into some other events. Bocce, you got to go with Gary and Colvin on that. And I also think they have a good chance of winning Holyboard, which could be some big points. So for me, I think the biggest threats are Gary Colvin in the unathletic sports and Dave Chu in the athletic sports.
Yeah, for those of you on the video, Gary is showing some things that you might want to be able to check out on the podcast. Laura, you got anything to add on any of these predictions?
Yeah, you want my predictions or my thoughts on other people's predictions?
I want your predictions on other people's predictions.
I think, Dave Chu, that team is just, I'd like to think that they'll win everything, but, it's too good to be true, too good to be true. It's just not, I don't know, I see them winning bocce. I think there's a clearly defined winner in bocce. I think everyone thinks that they can win, but I think realistically Dave Chu walk away with bocce. I think Goodmore, Steamboat walk away with the beer cup. I think it's the year return of Goodmore, and I think he wants to, have his one night out because he hasn't had one in a few years. And then I think Holyboard, probably Gary Colvin. Volleyball, I think Al Button. And then basketball seems more to me like the toss-up. Everyone's saying bocce's anybody's game. I think basketball is anybody's game this year. I think both is a contender in basketball. I think Chu is a contender in basketball. I think Dalton is a contender in basketball. I kind of feel like everyone's sort of got a shot. So I would say everyone's mistaken with bocce. I think Dave Chu are going to run away with that. And I think basketball is any man's game. And volleyball out of Button. And Goodmore Steamboat for the beer cup. And Gary Colvin for Holyboard.
Well, here's another question for you. Who do you think has the best entrance this year?
Oh, great question, Mark.
Best entrance this year.
But on the host, I'm not supposed to ask you questions.
I heard some dead air.
That was my next question. No, go ahead, Bob.
Let me think about that one for a minute, and I'll get back to you.
All right, we'll come back to everybody on best entrance. Give us your pick.
Basketball, I'm going to go Button Al, and then follow that up, second place, Dave and Chu. That'll be a great matchup of height versus lack thereof. But I've seen Al play with Button, and it's scary how he brings up his game. Volleyball, I'm going to go with Dave and Chu. Playing with Chu, I understand how he just makes everything easier. Dave can almost take a break half the plays. Because you don't have to think, you just have to react. Holy Boy, I'll go with Gary Colvin, and then again I'm going to go with Button Allen second because McKenna and I have seen Button and Al team up in Holy Board, and it was disgusting. Al just brought up his game like he's a grandmaster his whole life. So those two teams in Holy Board, and then Bocce, I'm gonna give McKenna and Lar a bone in this one too. I think McKenna's going to come prepared, and Graham, as long as McKenna can harness his Hulk powers, I think there'll be a force in that. And then I'm going to go as a believer with Al Button in second place in that. Al getting in the extra. And then no contest, Crean Dalton for the beer cup.
All right, Dave?
Yeah, hey, I'll say, as far as turning over a new leaf, the only time Derek Goodmore is ever going to turn over a new leaf is when he's grooming somebody's yard. He is not. We'll be seeing this in our fans like on Saturday night compared to far. And as far as Team Sexy, yeah, Elf Sexy, but all that's going to do is impregnate Condor and help him lay a big egg, because they're going to be nothing all day. Maybe beer can because of all the punishment beers they have to drink from losing me and Chew. We'll start with the most important event, and we'll go right back to Goodmore. I mean, Sweeten has been underachieving in Holy Board for years. Really, his whole life has been an underachievement. But Goodmore, I just think that team is classified by Goodmore the way he kind of showed up today. And if there's lying in wait. There's a bigger snake in the grass than Goodmore. I don't know. And I just really think they're going to surprise people at Holy Board. And I just think that team is kind of flying under the radar. And then in the finals, yeah, Greg Colvin. I think that's who they see in the finals. Volleyball, I think Crean kind of like the Jones, Lester Jones in volleyball, and the fact that, man, that guy is always there. He doesn't have the hardware Jones has, but he is always there. Doesn't have to get saddled with Bova or what, but the guy always shows up. You put him with Dalton, I think that team will be in the finals against Jones and Camper. Like I said, Jones has the hardware, so somebody beats them. Chu may be the greatest of all time. Jones is the greatest of the modern era. So I think those two in volleyball. Bocce, I like the Law-Ron team. I do think height hurts you at Bocce, as much to help you basketball as far as getting low to the ground and stuff like that. But I think that team's pretty good. And I think that Crean Dalton, I think that's what's growing up in Canastota. Those are the original guys you saw playing Bocce out there, like the old guys. I think athleticism will help out. Like I said, I think Crean is a talented there. I think they'll be there in Bocce against them. And lastly, basketball. I like that Goodmore Sweeten dynamic, the inside-outside. I mean, everyone knows, we can profile, Derek Vandersloot all day, his selfishness, his good luck, stuff like that. But on the other side of the coin, who's more unselfish and wanting to do the grunt work than Steamboat? The guy's about as unselfish as they come in. He married Sharon Enoch. So, basketball, I think those two are a good combination. And I think they'll see Chuck Bova. I think, man, that's a nice combination. That's kind of like wet garbage. I think it's just going to slide nice, and I think that those guys will be, they'll meet them in the final. That'll be the matchup in the finals. So, hopefully, more or less, hopefully we can get a good down stay out of this to see if we can make the brackets work out right. But those are what I like in the various events. Oh, beer can, sorry, lastly. I just think the beer can is a lot more about attitude than it is about consumption, or it's about the size of your gut. I think it's about the size of your game, and I just think, just listen to Ron, I just think that they're bringing it. I think they're going to bring to the beer can. I think they're going to be just the dominant force. I don't think there's going to be any question. And the only ones I even see, like I said, I think Camper is a very underrated enabler, and he'll enable Jones to get to where he needs to be in the discussion, but I think Ron wins beer can. That's what I got.
All right. Is there anyone else on the line that we haven't gotten to? All right. My tip, basketball. I think it's I think it's Condor and Al. They're going to take on Jones and Camper. I think Jones just continues. He's not only a COVID stopper. I just think you can't get in the scoring side on the paint, and he's just a dominant. He's like Roy Evers has been in this Miami series. You can't score inside of him. I think they're going to do enough. The only reason Camper just has it in his head, he can't be brought in. So I'm going to those are my top two in there. I'm going to go back to that Jones Camper team. So there's going to be the two big super team in volleyball. Jones is the dominant volleyball player. I haven't heard, other than Dave, anyone else mention them really in volleyball at all. And it must be like they haven't watched the fact that Jones has played the volleyball the last 5 years. And Camper just seems to be along for the ride. So I think they're going to win volleyball. They'll knock off the Chu Dave super team in volleyball. Holyboard, I think I'm going to go with Cream and Galton. I know Galton doesn't play that much. But last year, Cream was the single best player in Holyboard. He was just battle with Bova, who just decided not to show up. But if Bova had given him even a D game last year, Cream would have walked away with the Holyboard title. So that's my pick in Holyboard. I would say the next best team, I'll go with, I'll take Bowling Goodmore for the next best team. If there's one event that they'll show up in, I'd say that's the one. I think they're going to be big underachievers in basketball. A lot of people like them. I don't. And then in bocce, I think it's going to be Jones and Camper again. Jones and Camper, I think, have been 3 events. I just think they have everything that you're looking for in a team. No flaws. They have the right balance in every event. So I think they're going to take bocce, not counting Manoir. The best competition is definitely Boulder and Chuck. I think Boulder is good enough to not screw it up with Chuck, so I think it'll come down to those two teams. But Chuck is hit and miss in the finals. Usually it's not him, it's usually his teammate. And I think Boulder will crumble under the pressure of the finals, but it'll be good enough to get them there. And the beer can, going back to Cream and Galton, their reputation precedes themselves. I just think that that's one of the all-time beer can teams, two of the legends of consumption and admiration. And Dave's description of Galton is even half as good as it says. I just don't see that team being touched in the beer can. I think going back to things that I think Manoir will win is best entrance. I've got like 5 or 6 ideas from Manoir. I've been studying this for about a year. So I think we might have 5 or 6 different entrances. So I'm confident enough, but I'd be interested in other people's thoughts on best entrance.
Can you just do the entrances for everyone?
I might.
I think it's an interesting dynamic this year is with Goodmore, because I would say he's not only most likely to just completely overperform, he's also most likely to not show up.
Well, that's actually a good question. We'll have Andy Corcione as the alternate, and obviously Goodmore is as a heavy a favorite to be the person who doesn't show up as Dave and Chu are in volleyball. But who else besides Goodmore may not make it? I would say Colvin's definitely a candidate.
Colvin's got a baby on the way.
Yeah. Any other thoughts from the crowd of who might no show?
What do you think of that
Big Laura? How about Big Laura? Is there any broads in Tennessee coming up this year?
I'm trying to get my girlfriend to come up and wear a swimsuit and serve a beer all day, but then the pool's going to be down. I don't know if she's going to want to.
We'll just spray her down with the garden hose.
I will say this. So it's probably one of the nicest days in New York in a while, and I decided to stay inside for this call. And directly across from me, there's a girl on her fire escape who came out right when the call started in her bathing suit and has been sitting there tanning all throughout the call. So things could be worse.
Oh, here's actually a question. Who wants Andy Corcione to potentially be their teammate replacing their current teammate? Gary?
I don't know. Carson is like the kiss of death. So I'll stay with what I've got and hope that he gets in on another team because he's great to play against.
What do you think of Gary and Coach Leone or whatever his name is as partners? I think that's a contender in basketball.
Have you seen Corfield play basketball? I'll see what they call it.
Corfield was amazing at basketball the year I played with him.
I think a lot of that is from his first year, and I think in someone's first year you get a lot more effort than any other year.
Yeah, that's what makes me afraid of Golan's team. Like he could
Everyone
definitely do
that
some
plays
damage.
basketball against Golan or volleyball against Golan knows that he might be the most unstoppable person. Like he's a taller Howard in basketball. I mean, he's a beast.
I mean, I think there's probably never been a more hyped rough team than Dolphins. But everything you hear is otherworldly about this guy. So, and I've almost everyone has seen him or played with him something. So he's really the biggest wild card of this year's field. You hear nothing but how great he is and what a great athlete he is. So it'll be interesting to see if that translates into the pressure of the Oregon games. We've seen great athletes crumble under the pressure of the games. We've also seen a lot of bad athletes crumble under the pressure of the games.
Can we talk about carpool situations? Because I'm trying to figure out how to get up. I have Friday off. It's summer Friday, so I have Friday off, and I'm looking to get up as soon as I can.
Well, I'm pretty sure when you are basically current owner of your company that you get whatever days you want off.
Wow, what's Chu's travel plans?
I'm guessing Chu will be flying up.
That's a good point. I think one thing we haven't seen in past Yorton Games years that we're going to start to see more of is maybe some team sabotage. You know, what happens if Chu doesn't make it? That's a long flight, and there's a lot of things that could happen on flights these days that would, that could delay or, ultimately eliminate the competition.
His partner is in the Air Force, so he doesn't have to going for him.
If anybody comes up through Albany, I'm leaving Friday, obviously before dinner, so if you get to Albany, you can always ride out with me.
Maybe that's Jones, right?
Yeah.
That sounds like a fun car ride. I might take you up on that. You guys might not make it.
Well, it's like a Buddy Holly thing, and multiple people are, permanently
Oh, yeah, the Big Bopper and Richie Valens were done.
Of course, we all usually be in that same car. From Albany.
Right.
Rick, anything else you want to go over?
No, I don't think so. I have some stuff to talk to you about privately, but
I think we lost Dave.
I think it's good. I think he's trying to send it out. I think Biden missed the first hour or whatever. So,
yeah.
And obviously there was a lot of people that weren't on the call. So.
Right. I tried during the course of the call to get a hold of Amira, Andy, and Chu, and none of them ever picked up. So just let you know.
All right. Okay.
Hey, what's for Friday night? What's kind of like the timeline, the schedule there?
Last year we started at 6:30. So hopefully that still works for everyone. I think we have it reserved from 6 to 10. So I think I'll put 6:30 to 9:30 on the invitation type of thing. Gives it a half hour start, half hour to clean out.
We need to, is there anything we should bring, stuff like that?
Absolutely looking for people to bring something. You traveling, as far as you are, I don't know what would be a good thing for me to bring. Maybe,
Brownie?
box of cookies or something. Top brownies. I don't think if Scorpio and Jones in the car, I don't think they're making it the fucking definitely. Just to remind people that the wall dinner is August 17th. Same place it was last year at the Canastota VFW on Canal Street Road, and we're going to talk about 6:30, and I'm going to try to get invitations in the mail early next week, and again it's formal dress, and this year new twist, interesting hats encouraged. So anyone listening, try and find a good hat to wear. I'm not talking stupid fucking Yankees hat or something, or stupid gay Giants fucking hat. How much it's like cracking like interesting hats, like beer can helmets, cowboy hats, fucking berets. I don't know, maybe a hat made out of Legos, maybe fucking vaudeville type white hat, whatever that is. So interesting hats encouraged. That's the last thing I have to say.
Can you make it a rule that Boba's not allowed to wear one of those Rasta hats with the fake dreadlocks? Because I can see him doing that, and it's just
I will not pass that rule. I will not pass that rule. That would be great. I hope to see someone wearing that.
All right. Go ahead, Laura.
Oh, no, I was just, I'm all set. I'm saving the jokes for the Friday night.
Well, the predictions were pretty spread out overall. It seems like the clear teams mentioned the most were definitely Al and Dotton. Spread out throughout basketball and volleyball. The clear team for Holy Guard was Ian and Gary. The clear team for Bocce was me and Laura. However, those two teams are rarely mentioned for any other events. Quite a few other teams are spread out across the other events. One of the surprising teams that was touched on for quite a number of events was Steamboat and Derek. I think they had predictions for every single event except volleyball. So we have the clear favorites, and then some clear overall favorites, some clear event favorites, and then a lot of teams running at them. Any parting words from the gallery of who's left? Jones?
Hey, I'm just ready to go back to back. All this is just talk, but until we step on those courts, separate for the men from the boys from whatever Boba is too. So,
Yeah.
And
over the next.
That's right.
I think Jones has ulterior motives when he says let's separate the men from the boys. The question why he wants the boys separated.
And Jones is going to be separating me from my wallet if the racing steps are going. Gary, any final thoughts?
Gary's muted or not muted?
Yeah. I can try and unmute him, and every time I hit the button, he stays muted.
Probably hitting the button thinking it's helping him.
Yeah. All right, Lars, any final thoughts?
No, I'm looking forward to everything and some emails. I think I have some good team comparisons that I'll send out later tonight. And happy to be invited back to participate. It's been quite a while. So thanks to the Orton brothers for making that decision.
Royal, any thoughts?
Just be a good time. Should be a good time. So looking forward to it. And being Bocce Marshall again. Teams are pretty close, so I think it'll be good.
You got an important job. I mean, of all the marshals, the boxing one, I mean, you've got to measure, and your measurement can sometimes determine the difference between who wins the cup and who doesn't. So it's a big job. I think you've got to make sure those measurements are accurate. Condor.
You know, I think the end of this trilogy, this year is going to end in another trilogy with, 3 repeats. So, Joe, sorry that, I know you're looking to win again, but, not going to happen, man.
Garbage?
I'm going to go outside and start practicing. And I'm also going to start shopping for a Rasta hat.
You may also want to start shopping and find out their teammates' phone number and try to connect with them.
Yeah, does anybody have it? Can you give it to me right now? That wasn't a joke. Rick.
Yeah, I'll text you later.
All right, thanks, buddy.
All right. I think that's it. Rick, any parting words?
No, thanks everyone for taking the time out of their Saturday. That was a great surprise to hear from Dave. It was a kind of disappointing surprise not to hear from Q. But I thought more people that were on the email that weren't on the participant list would have been on the phone. But mental notes.
All right. Well, I'll work on getting this put together so we can share it with everybody. And the email will start flooding in over the next 3 months. 3 months from yesterday is the Jordan Games 16.
If you ever in your favor.
Well, good.
All right. Thank you.
I don't know what that was. All right, guys.
Later.
Later.
Take care, guys.